All right, in this video we are going to build the payload section of the water rocket. First thing I'm going to do, put a little hand sanitizer on my hand just to make sure that no germs get onto the equipment. So what you're going to do is you are going to have a 2-liter bottle and you're going to cut it in half, right? So what I would do is you get a ruler, and it's about a foot tall. So I just make a mark at 6 inches, and I kind of just marked all around the bottle. Just marked all around the bottle. Then I made a little incision with an X-Acto knife, and then I just took scissors and cut around, so I cut it in half. Now, hold on to this, because this will be the nose cone of the rocket. Eventually, it will go on top of that nose cone. Now, what you're going to do first, before you make any cuts into this, is you are going to fill it with water. So what that does is when you're hot gluing onto this, then the internal energy will be able to absorb it, or the water will be able to absorb that energy without melting the plastic. Otherwise, it gets warped and it's really hard to work with. So you also have this. This is the nose cone rest. So the idea behind this is that the nose cone, you don't want this nose cone to be stuck on there, because the idea is that you want this rocket, you want it to just set on top of there, go up, and then it fall off and release the parachute. So you don't want this far down. Now, what I did, and the easiest way to do this on these kind of bottles is just you want this nose cone rest to just be flush with the legs, right? So you see these little divots there? I just marked it right below the divot. You want it to be right there. You want it to be flushed right with that divot, right? Because that is just going to ensure that the nose cone will just set right on top of it. And it's pretty loose, but it's not like really high up here, right? So that's where you want to put the nose cone rest. That's where it is. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to hot glue gun all the way around, and there's going to be a gap. But we want that gap because you're going to have a piece of PVC pipe. This is going to be the guide ring. So you're going to glue that. You're going to use hot glue gun to glue that right there. So this is going to slide on top of that the guide rod, so it goes up straight. And you want to make sure that this is in that gap, or else the guide rod will push up against this and it's not going to really go anywhere. So this is how you properly build it. So once you've done that, you've built that, well, this is what it's going to look like, right? So notice that, well, the nose cone rest is just flush with the valleys on the legs over here, just flush, so that way that nose cone can rest just right on top of that, and the parachute can go inside of that. All right, and there's that little gap, and inside of that gap I put the guide ring there. Okay, so the last thing that you want to do on this is it should be all filled with water, and then before then you dump it out. Then you can start making cuts into it. So what you're going to do is take that X-Acto knife and you're going to make 2 small incisions. And if you can see there, it's like you're making a little handle. Well, that's what's going to hold the nose cone with the string and the parachute. That's what's going to hold that. Also, somewhere I recommend doing it on the opposite side, or somewhere not really close to that guide ring, is that altimeter entrance. So I just did, it's about maybe 1.5 inches across, 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Just take the X-Acto knife, just carefully make small incisions. That way, the electronic altimeter will be able to just fit inside of that payload and will be able to measure the exact height that rocket goes to on that launch day. So when it's all said and done, what should happen is this payload should look like this. This is where the egg is going to go. This is going to go on top of the body, and it should be pretty snug. And on launch day, you'll get some tape and be able to tape this. Just make sure that the guide ring isn't in the way of the fins. So when it does time to come launch, you can just set it down and it'll launch. Then the nose cone and the parachute will go on top just like that. But that, once again, is just how you build the payload section of the rocket. And last thing I'm going to do is put a little hand sanitizer on my hand.